Hello, so now that you understood the concept of compound interest, I will show you how to use that for those important concepts, the present value and the future value. In the previous video, we invested 1,000 euro at the rate of 8% for 20 years. That means that it's going to be like yearly compound. In this case, every time the interests are going to be added to the principal to calculate the new interest. That's what we call reinvesting. At the end of the day, you're interested in knowing how much money do you have after those 20 years. That is what we are going to call the future value of that investment. To calculate that, we are going to use this simple formula. So we are going to have our principal, which is going to be like 1,000 euros multiplied by 1 plus the interest rate, and all of this is going to be to the power of 20, which is the amount of periods that we are going to have our money invested. As you can see, in the compounding interest, we have an exponential. So to summarize, the general formula is going to be our principal multiplied by 1 plus the interest rate, and all of this to the power of 20. With this, we are going to get the future value of our investment after T periods of time, but take care that the compounding periodicity needs to be the same as in the periods of T. So let's see what happens if instead of having a yearly compounding, we want to have a monthly compounding. That means that for the 20 years, we're going to have right now 240 periods of time, which corresponds to 20 years multiplied by 12 months for every year. And applying our formula, we are going to have the following. We're going to have the 1,000 euros multiplied by 1 plus an interest rate, and this to the power of 240. But watch out, here we cannot use the same interest rate because the previous one, what we had, was a yearly interest rate. So in this case, we need to transform our yearly interest rate into a monthly compounded interest rate. So here is going to be the formula to translate our yearly interest rate into a monthly interest rate. So you are going to have on this side 1 plus the yearly interest rate, and then this one has to be equal to 1 plus the monthly interest rate, and this to the power of 12. Why is 12? Because it's the number of periods that is contained in the higher dimensional interest rate. So in this case, on the left hand of the equation, we have like a yearly interest rate. On the right hand, we have a monthly interest rate. So we know that there are 12 months within a year. So that's why in this case, we're going to have like a power of 12. Our monthly interest rate is going to be equal to 1 plus yearly interest rate to the power of 1 divided 12 and everything minus 1. You can do after how this formula was reorganized. So now coming back with this monthly interest rate, we can go back and apply to see what is going to be our future value of these 1,000 euros that we are going to invest for 240 periods, that would be 240 months, at an yearly interest rate of 8%, which monthly would be this one. So now this is how you calculate your future value, but we also can do the reverse calculation. That means that coming from a future value, we can bring all those cash flows or that money and calculate the present value. When you do this, even though the formula is the same, usually the interest rate that we will be using here in this formula is called discount rate. It's called discount because we are discounting something in the future to get some cash flows in the present. So now you might wonder, why do I want to calculate the present value of something if what I want to do is to invest, right, in the future? So let me give you an example of that. Let's say that you want to buy a house in 3 years, and for that you have to put a down payment in 3 years of 10,000 euros. You know that if you put your money now in your bank account, you are going to get an interest rate of 2% yearly. So the question would be, if I want to get 1,000 euros after 3 years, how much money do I have to put now in order to get to that 10,000 euros? So we are going to use this formula to bring that 10,000 euros into the present, and the formula is going to look like this. Present value is going to be equal to this 10,000 euros, which is going to be the future value from the formula before, divided by 1 plus yearly interest rate, which this case is going to be 2%, and all to the power of the number of periods that we want to bring that cash flow back. In this case, it's going to be like 3 years. This will give you about 9,424 euros that you need to invest right now in order for you to have in 3 years those 10,000 for your house. So let's recap here. To calculate the future value of a present value, you use the interest rate. This is assuming that you're earning periodically interest and you're reinvesting them. So that's why it's a future value. On the other hand, if you want to bring some future value to a present value, you have to use a discount rate, which again is the same as an interest rate, just with a different name. Okay, that's for today. Thanks for watching and see you in the next lesson.